Oh, it's, hey friends, it's been a while. It is Friday, July 3rd, and I am in what I am now considering my cocooning stage of life. That means I'm not really leaving the house much. I do. I go out. You know, still see friends and family and do things and go shopping, but I'm spending a whole lot of time at home. Basically, right here. Oh, there's Kevin. Kevin. Yes, there's Kevin. I'm sorry, I can't figure out this backwards camera. And the cats are usually around somewhere. Usually trying to get outside. But it's been hot as flags. Censoring myself here this week, and we have not been going out much. Couple of days ago, there was a wicked storm that blew through here. It was not forecast. It was not expected. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I was looking out the window wondering why there wasn't a tornado warning. It was that wicked. And we lost power for about 4 hours. Luckily, in my emergency stage where I felt like I had to be, ready for all emergencies, I have a couple of batteries that I have, a Bluetti and a Jackery, just small ones, but they got me through enough so that I at least had a fan on me. I grabbed a novel that I've been reading, and after the storm let up, I went outside and read for quite a while. Had a whole glass of wine to hold me over, and we got through that storm just fine. But yeah, basically been in the cocooning stage of life, not really going out too much, not talking to a whole lot of people, and just enjoying getting up every day and not having any obligations. Really enjoying not having to go to work every day. I'm almost considering this semi-retirement, although I have been keeping an eye on the job postings. Yeah, that's pretty sad. But anyways, I'm good as far as EI and stuff for a good year. So I'm just not going to worry about it for a while. I will keep my eye out for appropriate jobs, but in the meantime, I just feel like on a psychic level, I need this rest time. I didn't get nearly enough rest last year. So many things happened in such a short period of time. Mark went in the hospital. A week after that, I had to put our dog down. About 4 weeks after that, Mark passed away in the hospital. 7 weeks after that, my mom passed away. A week after my mom died, we had her funeral. And a week after that, my house got raided by the OPP with a search warrant. It was for my step-grandson, who had been living with Mark and I for 3 years. He was 17 at the time. He turned 18 on July 4th, 2025. And I learned that he had been under investigation by the OPP for a year. For downloading and distributing child pornography. How I didn't have a nervous breakdown, I don't know. But it was shortly after that I started on antidepressants and therapy. And making plans to get that kid the fuck out of my house. I was still working, by the way, at that time. He hadn't been charged with anything, but all his electronics were seized, and we're going to go through a forensic investigation. By the time July rolled around, I had made plans for us to go and visit his birth mother, who lived in BC, who he hadn't been in contact with for, 8 years, something like that. 6 years. I'm not entirely sure. She was a former drug addict. His father got all of her parental rights taken away when she went into recovery. She did recover, and by last year she had been clean for at least 5 years. In university, honors student, doing very well for herself. And I had been in contact with her because I wasn't in contact with his father or my stepdaughter. And when we got out there, he and I, we had a fight. He had done work for me around the house. I had done renovations, and he thought I owed him a lot more money than I actually paid him. I gave him $1,000, which is probably more, worth more than all the work he had done, including all the food I had bought him and his friends, the expensive takeout lunches, and other things that had happened, where I had bailed him out of a couple of episodes that he'd gotten himself in trouble with, buying designer shoes from someone without the money to do it, getting threatened to get jumped at school, him and his girlfriend. So I bailed him out of that for $500, bailed him out of a so-called business he was going to do for another $300. So he thought he was getting $1,500. He got $1,000, and he was lucky to get that. But I wouldn't give him the money until we got out to where his mother lived. We flew out there. We had the disagreement over the money, and I was supposed to stay for a week. We were supposed to stay for a week. I had bought him a flexible ticket, and we had discussed him staying there longer, and he could book his flight back at another time. He wasn't enthusiastic about it. But after 2 days after this fight, I booked myself a flight back and told him, this is where our story ends, man. I had a layover. I flew back after about an hour. I had a layover. Got a bunch of really just nasty, horrible texts from him, being an ungrateful teenager. And by the time I got home, I got even more texts, and at that point, I just blocked him. And a week later, his birth mother asked me if I could send the rest of these things out there. I did. I asked her if he received them. She said, yep, he did. And then she immediately blocked me. So that was great. I'm done with all of them. I don't have to deal with any of that negativity in my life anymore. Because we had my husband's funeral. I put off his celebration of life and funeral. He died December 12th, 2024. We didn't have a celebration of life until the end of May here at home. And then we had his actual funeral at his hometown in St. John, New Brunswick, about a week later. And that was, I'm going to say, July 7th. About a week and a half later, maybe not even that long, I got a call from Mark's brother saying that his father had died. So, 6 months, my dog dies, my husband dies, my mother dies, my house gets raided by the OPP, and my father-in-law dies. As soon as I got back from St. John, we flew out to where his birth mother lives, and I left him there. And that was not the end of my trauma, but the end of my responsibilities. It was something I had to do. I knew I had to do it for the sake of my own mental health. Now I live a life of peace. It took a long time for me to get from feeling abject loneliness without having my husband here. And I'm still lonely for him, don't get me wrong. But to be able to come to a place of peace living alone. So that's life right now. And I call this my cocooning stage, and at some point, a butterfly will emerge.